All right, so today we're going to create our third and final sketchbook page of our fall scenes. The first one we did was the pre and post assessment of the Indian corn. The second one was how to draw a pumpkin. And now we're combining these and making an arrangement of different fall props. So using a marker and relatively small at the top of your sketchbook page, write your squad goals. These are also listed on the chalkboard under 6th grade. Hashtag squad goals, arrange a unique composition using fall props. So what I tend to do, I think I'm going to turn my page sideways. I think landscape is a better option for this. You're more than welcome to try portrait, no problem. I'm going to draw a horizon line. So it can be right in the middle, it could be a little bit closer to the bottom than the top. And the horizon in this case could be anything. It could be a bale of hay, it could be a brick ledge that these are on, it could be the grass, the mud, whatever. You can make a different one in each of these 4 scenes. I tend to like to do a grouping of odd numbers, so maybe like 3 different things in your arrangement to draw this part of. And I had some of you guys taking photos that will be printed out for you guys. So if you want to look at some of these were some photographs using the props that we had. So we had the cornucopia, we had different gourds, pumpkins, pine cones. So you can look at one of these for an idea of an arrangement, or you could look at the pieces separately and then just place them in here however you would like. So I want you to kind of think outside of the box. I want these all to look very different. Remember, sketch light until you get it right. And here's my horizon line. And I'm not going to go crazy drawing the Indian corn like we did in our practice sheet, but I am going to draw the outline of the shape exactly where I want it. You want to fill up the whole page. Things can be going off the page. They should be overlapping for sure. And I'm not going to go crazy with detail, but placement is really important. You really want to gather the correct placement of these. And maybe I'll have a small pumpkin over here. And maybe a gourd, or even another piece of Indian corn. I think I might do that. Another piece of Indian corn laying down right here. And remember, the husk of the corn is much longer than the corn itself. So those should almost always be going off the page. And we can add some with folds, some with twists, all those things. So I don't want you to spend too much time on that, but I do want you to use the correct placement, like I said earlier. I don't also want you to create all of those individual kernels on here, but I do want you to make the lines so that you see where the kernels would be. And erase the horizon line like I've been doing in the background. And here's my composition number 1. So it's 2 Indian corns and 1 small pumpkin. I'm going to do the next one. Maybe the horizon line's a little bit higher. Maybe it's a brick wall. Maybe this is a ledge, and that's going to be brick in the background. And maybe I have a large pumpkin here, okay? And remember when we talked about drawing pumpkins, larger pumpkins that are actually real pumpkins, not of the gourd variety, they don't have these chubby little sections. So they still have the lines that represent parentheses in them, but they're not as defined as those small ones. So erase all of those. And I do want you to have a piece of Indian corn in each one, just so you know that. And maybe I'll have my Indian corn down here. Sketch lightly so that all of this erasing isn't going to kill your eraser. And maybe I'll do a small gourd, which each of these gourds is very different. So I'm not going to give you tips on how to draw a gourd. The coloring in them is very unique and interesting. Also the texture with all of the warts on them. All right. Erase those lines that are overlapping so you can show which objects are in front, which objects are in back. And then if you want to fill in the background, like this one could be brick, I can draw those bricks too so that you have an idea of what's going on in the background. It could just be black cloth like it is in the photos that I showed you that we had set up in this classroom. All right, so number 1, number 2, and number 3 will be down here. You'll draw a low horizon line, a large pumpkin, maybe a small round pumpkin. And we're just drawing basic shapes, like I said. These don't have to be perfect. And then maybe the Indian corn. I won't see too much of the husk. Right there. And maybe I want to do 5 things. Maybe I want a couple little acorns over here. Okay? Like I said, odd numbers typically look the best in these types of arrangements, but that doesn't mean that you can't do even numbers. It's all about composition and placement and where you're having all of your negative space. So you definitely don't want to have everything in one area. You want to have a nice balance, but it doesn't, just an odd number typically helps that. That doesn't mean that's all the time. So maybe I'll have 2 Indian corns crossing over each other in this one and a small pumpkin sitting over here. Okay, so these should all 4 be very different. Once you finish, oh, sorry, got to raise that one up a little bit. Once you finish all 4 of these, you can choose your favorite one. So I think I liked this one for me. Put a check or a star by that, and then really add some of those details, and you can also add some color. So this is about a 1-class project. You guys will be scored 10 points on it, and hopefully you finish by the end of the class. If you finish the drawing, go ahead and grab some colored pencils, and you can begin coloring that.